We earn, buy something and save our money. Living beyond economy is impossible. What trends are dictated by the world markets and how do they affect consumers? Watch this in the program People and Economy. A house repair. About 50% of people embark on such an important venture once in 5 years. 30% prefer to remodel their houses every 7 years. The rest do it once in a decade, sociologists say. Given all that, we should also mention that having this dubious pleasure can cost you a pretty penny, or on the average $300 per square meter if the renovation is made in accordance with European standards. Thus, the recent surveys have shown that more than a half of residents of CIS countries prefer to renovate their houses rather than spend their money on holidays or a new car. Preparing the budget, making draws, phone calls to suppliers and staff meetings. This is a usual working day of interior designer Darya Shugaeva.
Плюс сейчас здесь у нас стоят двери, то есть нам стандартное помещение дали с дверьми, без роль ставней.
Living conditions of customers fully depend on a designer's mood and fantasy, Darya says. When spring comes, her phone never goes silent and the number of orders usually doubles. At the same time, since recently, customers have become thriftier and prefer to avoid expensive and brand-name design standards. Nowadays, cheaper equivalents are more in fashion. As an example, let's take some very expensive chandelier which you could find at the Milan exhibition 3 months ago. We can easily find its analog produced in China, so instead of $5,000 we order this chandelier for $800. Taking into account the shipping costs, as a result the price of this beautiful item will be just about $1,000. The designer's services cost can hardly be low. On the average, it reaches $30 per square meter. However, people are not frightened by such prices. On the contrary, the number of customers from the middle class is growing, Darya says. And the increase in purchasing power is by far the only factor which predetermines such an active demand. Designers' services are quite in demand nowadays. The living standards are improving and people are becoming more educated and fastidious. They travel more and have the access to the internet. As a result, instead of saying, "We want it to be comfortable and good-looking," customers now used to say that they want to add some image and some emotions to their house interior. Among others, designer services include project elaboration. It consists of a detailed description of all building materials, drawings, work plans and schemes. Besides that, there is also a number of optional paid services which an architect can suggest. Specialists say ordering a designer's supervision together with drawings will be also reflected on the price. An Art Deco style flat or non-aging classics, the price of 1 square meter of this interior is about $70, and a turnkey type apartment will cost $20 more. Upon that, besides making good money, professional designers also try to save the budget of their customers. Now it is quite possible to make various types of fakes. Thus, it is quite unnecessary to make a wood wall panel from the real wood. Instead of that, you can use polyurethane, which we make look like a natural material. The same thing as with classic styles, which require gypsum, molding and wall frames. All these things can now be replaced with polyurethane or even foam plastics, which will minimize their cost. In a high season, the number of orders in construction companies also increases. On average, such firms take over more than 5 projects per week. Meanwhile, the price for a comprehensive economy class remodeling varies from $70 to $100 per 1 square meter. The realization of more complex individual projects with decorations and the installation of air conditioners will cost on average $150. An exclusive renovation, according to the author's project, will require $200 and more.
Все зависит от сложности.
Everything depends on complexity of works. For example, laying an ordinary ceramics has one price, which will be different from laying a decorated ceramics.
Это другая цена.
Customers of building companies in their turn try to save more money and mainly concentrate on middle-price building materials. Thus, they give less preference to branded wallpapers from Italy at a cost of 100 euros, but are keen to buy cheaper models of the same quality as European ones. Sellers say that an average amount paid by one customer varies from $100 to $500. At the same time, the sales of finishing materials also depend on the season. Paints and dry mixtures for rough works are sold mostly in springtime. By summer, we usually sell more finishing materials, wallpapers, panels, ceramics and bathroom fixtures. By fall, we observe the increase in sales of doors, which are usually installed in the end of any repair works. Independently on the type of material, people of Kazakhstan tend to give more preference to locally produced goods. Almost 1,500 domestic building companies produce cement, dry construction mixtures, roofing and heat insulation materials, along with bricks and ceramics. Nowadays, homemade products make up 75% of the domestic market, statistics say. Cement is the principal building material produced in Kazakhstan. Its output reaches almost 8 million tons annually. Bricks are on the second place with more than 900,000 cubic meters. The annual output of plastic pipes is about 11,000 tons. Europeans give preference to minimalism. It comes evident that residents of this region prefer comfort and reliability rather than style. For them, the quality of their house remodeling is on the second place. In some countries, builders give a 10-year warranty, even though in most cases people prefer to use cheap construction materials. For instance, Germans will never buy wallpapers for more than 20 euros or laminate for more than $80 per square meter. It is often explained by the fact that the majority of Europeans live in rented houses. However, it does not prevent them from making renovations on average once a year. Frequently, Europeans want things be simple but tasteful, and interior design is not an exception. Because of that, even in case of minor remodeling, they seek for help of construction organizations or designers, whom they pay about 5% of the repair costs. Notably that the greater is the house area and the more expensive are the materials, the cheaper will be the designer's work. On the contrary, an architect's work will be more expensive if you renovate a small house using cheap building materials. Builders explain such a price policy in their own way. If the size of your house exceeds 90 square meters, we do modern-style repairment works for 2,500 tenge per square meter. In smaller houses, we'll do it for 2,700 or even for 3,000 tenge per square meter. Along with their own territories, Europeans also get accustomed to renovate public spaces. For example, each month the residents of Germany pay a certain sum of money for renovation of their porches, roofs or facades. The charges usually do not exceed half a cent per square meter. Unlike Germans, Britons prefer to modernize their own houses and spend for that purpose about 50 billion pounds of sterling annually, or on average 3,000 pounds per each resident of the country. Asia is a region with centuries-old traditions honored by almost all local residents. National styles of the countries are reflected by the interiors. Although people of China decorate their houses in European style, they never forget about paying a tribute to their traditions, including the feng shui art. Because of that, they prefer to use building materials made of stone, bamboo, wood and clay. It is also worth to note that the panel pictures with hieroglyphs in a feng shui style and flower compositions are often used by world-known designers in their projects. Thus, prices of artworks made in a style of the best Chinese traditions begin from $130 for a square meter.
Китай занимает первое место по
China is the top world producer of building materials based on its internal market size. A huge population, as well as diverse geography and climate, require satisfying a great demand, and after satisfying internal demands, they start to promote their products abroad. People of Japan, like Europeans, are also the lovers of minimalism. Compactness, comfort, and ecological compatibility are the main criteria of an ordinary Japanese house. Like in China, local residents also use natural materials and combine them with high technologies, automatic wall partitions or sliding windows. Tough austerity measures do not allow Japanese people to renovate their living spaces too frequently. Statistics shows that usually they do it once in 5 years. Living conditions of Americans do not excel in luxury. As a rule, the residents of this region use cheap materials for finishing the interior of their houses. In addition, despite a wide range of natural products, they give preference to various imitations, such as fake wood panels, plastic items resembling gypsum, or synthetic covering instead of parquet. And it is by no means for economy reasons, but for temporariness. The majority of US residents has no personal houses, but at the same time is very concerned about the exterior look of their dwellings.
Помимо того, что
A good design is as necessary as renovation. Much attention should be given to the landscape design, even if people live in a rented house. And despite the fact that they pay from $400 to $500 monthly for rent, they renovate their houses because it is required by landlords.
за
Ecological compatibility nowadays is the dominating tendency in housing renovation, specialists say. Designers try to realize natural projects with natural and eco-friendly building materials, which positively affect not only customers' health, but their purses as well. Ecologically safe products are almost 10% cheaper than their chemical equivalents.
Экологичные материалы
Almost all groups of goods contain eco-friendly materials, such as bamboo wallpapers, scentless water-based paints, and many other materials, which emit no vapors or other noxious substances. They are safe, and by using them, you can secure yourself from various harmful effects.
с вредными.
In high seasons, cement is considered the most in-demand material. Hundreds of new plants with a capacity of 3 billion tons of cement are opened annually throughout the world. Their output is constantly growing due to the Asian region countries. This is proved by real data. The world's largest cement producer is China, which accounts for more than half of output of this material. It is followed by India with 7%. The third place is shared between the US and Brazil with 2% each. Materials are an integral part of a successful house construction and renovation. They make up 70% of all expenses. Specialists assure reducing costs is possible if all necessary goods are acquired in one and the same shop, as buying by wholesale is cheaper. In addition, many building shops from time to time announce discounts, make attractive offers, and spread discount cards among customers. Sometimes bonuses allow saving up to 20% of costs. The price of a total repair is formed by several factors. Rough works account for 1/10 and finishing for 25% of costs. Construction works and equipment take 15%. 1/3 of money is spent on furniture and only 5% on a design project. Natural skin wallpapers create a new tendency in the art of interior decoration. This invention of a British artist attracts more and more well-to-do customers, as middle-class buyers cannot afford themselves buying this exclusive art. The price of the innovation is $24,000 per 1 square meter.